Hello, everyone. What is going on? James here, and welcome back to the Banterous Hour with fellow guest, Mr. Scott.
Hello.
We're both coming at you today with a tier list. This is the first. I've done tier lists on the Banterous Hour before with Liam and George, but this is the first episode dedicated fully to a tier list, pretty much. I guess the Star Wars episode was kind of dedicated to a tier list. It was like an hour, me and Liam talking about the Star Wars games on a tier list.
Don't ask me what sparked this tier list conversation. It's just kind of one that sparked from our conversations we've had in DMs.
Yeah, because the thing is, myself and Scott have talked a lot about films on podcasts and a few TV shows, but in private we've had a lot of other discussions, and animal discussions have been pretty intriguing, so we might as well get out there and talk about the hardest animal.
Yep.
Well, where we rank animals and a human and all that jazz. So
so this is an animal toughness tier list, sort of.
Yeah, man.
Now, let's put it out there pretty right. A good portion of animals could kill a human with very little effort on their own. Let's be straight with that one.
Definitely. So before we get into this, we're just going to quickly talk about a big debate that was sparked online.
Yeah, one of these debates always shows up every couple of years, and it always involves a fucking gorilla.
Yeah, 100 men versus one gorilla. Who wins? And before I'll give you the answer now, the early answer. 99 men get wiped out. Then you hear my theme music play. I'll pick, I don't know, a Dire Straits theme song. I'm coming in with a Money in the Bank contract to kill that gorilla.
All right. So just to jokes aside, just to squash this debate, the 100 men win, no contest. Like, anyone who thinks the gorilla wins this debate is either overestimating gorillas, underestimating humans, or doesn't quite understand how big 100 people is as a number.
Yeah.
For one, yes, gorillas are strong and have a bite force, but gorillas are also really, really opposed to violence. Like, they are not a violent type.
Yeah.
And they give you every conceivable warning before they attack. And also, gorillas are built for short bursts of energy. So at fucking best, the gorilla would kill 10 to 20 people and then just be out of steam. And just get curb stomped by the remaining 80.
No, I reckon it'd still injure a few more of them. I reckon it'd probably be able to go woof, 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 and injure a few, and then probably get its ass kicked.
Like I said, the gorillas do not have good stamina. They just don't.
You think it'd get gassed out after 20 then?
It would be. I reckon it would be running on empty after 10. If it had any energy left after 20, that would be a shock in itself.
Damn. Fair enough.
Their bodies, they're not. But they spend most of the day sitting on their ass eating. Like I said, they're built for short bursts of energy, not prolonged fight. Like, they have terrible body cooling, unlike humans.
Damn, that's interesting.
So unlike us, whose bodies naturally cool themselves down over time through sweat, gorillas don't have that. So they use a burst of energy and then they are just out of it for however long.
To be honest, this would have been my guess, but I'll take your word. This would have been my original take. So I reckon the gorilla, this is what I thought before, gorilla kills 30, then injures 20 to 25, and then the other ones beat it up and kill it. But I'll take your word of 20 at best. Because if it does have that issue where it gasses out, like it can't sweat like humans can and recuperate, if it doesn't have a second wind in it biologically, then I don't think if it has no energy left, then what can it do?
Exactly, yeah. Like, again, not putting down, like, a gorilla is still way stronger than a human, and one human would get fucking ripped in half by a gorilla if it meant to kill. But again, for example, gorillas get killed by gangs of chimps because they refuse to fight back. Or, like I said, they are super opposed to violence.
Yeah.
So you would have to do a lot for a gorilla to want to kill you. And like I said, it doesn't have the energy to kill more than a handful of people at a point.
And chimps are they're more bitter and spiteful and calculated.
Yeah.
Horrible animal.
Chimps are, like, Okay, I'm going to put this out there right now. Any human that thinks they could legit beat a chimp that wants to do you harm in a fight, regardless of who you are, you're a dumbass.
Hold on, GC is here! Hoorah!
Hello.
Hey, we got George. Yo, welcome.
We were
Hello, hello.
It's
100
going to be a
men. Are you
three-person
taking a shit?
podcast now.
No, I'm just sitting down.
Okay.
I was going to go for a shower. I saw you sent me the link. I thought I'll join for a minute.
100
Okay.
men versus a gorilla. Who are you picking, and how many men could the gorilla beat?
See, I think it depends on what kind of men you get. Like if you get like 50 middle-aged bald football fans, it was like a fight, and then like another like 50 versions of Eddie Hall or something like that. I think you have a pretty good chance.
Do you reckon?
Alright,
So you reckon the 100 men?
this is going to test how well you know gorillas, George. How many men do you think the gorilla would take out?
Probably about half.
Damn, that's what I originally guessed. To be fair,
Mm. Well, if you gouge the gorilla's eyes out, like try and do that straight away,
Yeah.
that's going to make it a lot more difficult for it.
All right, time to crush George's hopes and dreams here. At the absolute best, the gorilla would get about 20 people at best.
Is that it?
Yeah.
God.
For
I thought you were saying like, all 100 or something like that.
No. At its absolute, like, a gorilla would easily get 10 people. It would be pushing it to get 20. Because I was actually telling James about this just before you joined. But basically, one, gorillas are super opposed to violence. It probably won't even defend. It won't immediately defend itself because gorillas get killed by packs of chimps because they refuse to fight back. Also, gorillas spend a lot of their time just sitting on their asses eating. So even though they have a lot of strength and a ridiculous bite force that actually is stronger than a grizzly's,
yes,
they don't have a huge amount of energy because, as I said, they spend all their time sitting down eating the entire day.
it makes sense. Like if you got like a really fat guy versus like 100 midgets.
Yeah, exactly. But also, gorillas are built for short bursts of energy, so they run out of steam very quickly. During that burst, yes,
I did see that when I was looking at it. I see it.
Yeah. Granted, during that burst of energy, they are God of War incarnate. They will run through people. But after that burst of energy is up, they have nothing left in the tank.
That makes sense.
And gorillas don't have the inbuilt cooling mechanism that humans do. So they would also be super quick.
Yeah, that makes perfect sense.
Yeah. So actually, 10 people, gorilla would definitely get 10 people easily. 20 is where I reckon it would completely be out of energy and then just get curb stomped by the remaining 80.
How about like if it was 100 versus 100 midgets versus one, would it just be like double the amount? Right? It would take out 40 instead.
Yeah, maybe, yeah.
I honestly reckon the gorilla takes 100. It depends how tall the dwarfs are and what their combat skills are. Like if you count 4'11" as a dwarf or whatever, then I think the 4'11" people.
and then a lot of the tiny ones that like to just go up to your waist.
Yeah.
Like what's his name? Out of it, An Idiot Abroad.
Warwick Davis in season.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
But also I was mentioning just before you joined, George. Any human that thinks they could beat a chimp in a fight is fucking stupid. Anyone who thinks any human could beat a chimp one-on-one is heavily underestimating chimps.
But it's like saying like one man versus like 100 year sevens. You know who's going to win. It's going to be like the year sevens. Yeah. Because they might be small, but they've still got power.
Yeah. Yeah.
Anyway, if I was going to get the tier list up for you.
Yeah, let's get to the tier list.
So, yeah, we might as well start off with the chimp, actually. Where did I put it?
Okay, what are our tiers currently?
So, here's the chimp. I put the chimp in good.
I would put chimp in good, yeah.
With a chimp, it can rip your face off. It uses its arms all the time. It can rip.
Chimps are super vindictive. They're strong, and they're smart. They can use small weaponry, as in like they can create conventional weapons. Because there's actually reports of chimps like sharpening sticks into spears with their teeth, and like jabbing them into holes to get at animals hiding inside tree trunks.
That's why they use as a trunk monkey, I'm guessing.
Yeah, but also, so with chimps, when they attack you, they know how to inflict pain, and when a chimp attacks you, it's actually not trying to kill you. It is trying to inflict as much pain as possible for as long as possible. For example, a chimp's opening move, if you look at like any like mock chimp attacks, is to fucking run up and immediately like tackle kick you to the ground. From there, they proceed to either fucking hammer fist, like just like beat you, or they'll bite your hands, feet, groin, face. Basically, they're not trying to kill you. They're trying to inflict as much pain as physically possible for as long as possible.
Yeah. Thing is, with a chimp attack, you actually have a good chance of surviving because they don't want to kill you. But obviously, you're going to be in a world of horrendousness. Like that.
Oh yeah, like basically, you'll have a decent chance of surviving a chimp attack, but you'll wish you hadn't. Basically.
Yeah. And you know, when with that lady who got her face ripped off, I walked up to her, the medics, and they were like, "She's dead," and they're like, "No, she's breathing," and they're like, "Oh, we need to save her then."
Yeah,
because the chimp had got shot down by the police, obviously for killing her and going ballistic. And she's still alive now. She did eventually have a face transplant, but she can't see and she doesn't have any hands. So
it's like a friend's monkey, wasn't it?
It was a friend's chimp. Yeah. You should not be keeping wild animals ever in a million years. That's madness.
You shouldn't keep a chimp as a pet. They are a time bomb waiting to go off.
But any wild
it would be good like to have one as an attack monkey. Like if somebody messes you out, just send the attack monkey. Yeah.
If it's something that can be domesticated, like a dog or a cat, those type of pets, fair enough.
Yeah, I would prefer a dog over a chimp, because whilst a chimp would probably be more effective at actually getting the robber out of your house, the chimp is also more likely to attack you as well, just because.
Yeah, because it's in a rage.
Yep. What's next on our list?
Yeah, never keep those sort of wild animals as pets. What other animal would be interesting to talk about next?
Why is there a random guy on there?
That's so basically we've got average human, which we'll talk about in a bit, and we've got.
So that would probably be like top, wouldn't it?
What?
I would put this up that this is assuming like one-on-one engagements. A human is not beating like 90% of this list.
Yeah,
even.
I was thinking like evolution and stuff like that.
No, this is like assuming like we put them together, have them fight. So in this case, humans wouldn't be allowed weaponry.
Yeah.
If humans were allowed to bring weapons into these fights, they'd be in the top tier, no question.
Yeah, especially if someone who's got a good shot with a gun and can handle the pressure.
Here's a question. On this list, where would the PG Tips monkey go?
Probably in goat tier, to be honest. He's
But he's basically invincible, isn't he?
Yeah. All the stuff he goes through.
All right, so we got average human next. I'm guessing.
Oh yeah, we can put out. All right, so I'm going to put him average human in average.
Yep. It's definitely not going higher than the chip. Let's be real.
So the thing is, with an average human, we have the precision grips with weapons. Yeah, we're good, but
we can make weaponry.
We can use our intellect to beat some animals as well, but we're on about a proper gladiator scenario, so we can't use our environment. The animal can't use its environment. It's just one-on-one arena. We got you do have men have man strength, which is a bit strong, but nothing compared to a bloody for fuck's sake, stupid computer.
Yeah, there's a lot of ads popping up.
No, it's because I tried clicking on it and then it popped up with all the pop-ups at the bottom, and then I accidentally clicked Safari. Human average. We will put the best fighter in the world higher than the average human, but not that much higher.
I mean, he would be behind the chimp in the playlist, I reckon.
Yeah, Aspinall will be behind the chimp. Yeah.
Yeah, because again, no human, regardless of who you are, is beating a chimp.
Who have we got? Pig. I'm going to put pig in average as well. I reckon a human beats pig in a gladiator scenario.
Oh, human definitely beats pig.
It's not fat people have got a bit of representation.
What about fat people?
It doesn't matter. The joke doesn't work.
Oh, sorry, I thought he was on about.
I don't joke.
He was trying to make a
I could have been
fantastic joke.
Yeah, it didn't work.
Pigs have
I
been
see
very-
James on there though.
Yeah. So pigs have been very right. Which one
And the big cat.
are you on about?
We're making
Well,
our way through the
lion-
list. We'll get to the big cats later. Don't worry.
But-
We're making our way
because
through
you-
the tier list.
Because he's a massive pussy.
Anyway, your jokes are better on the podcast yesterday.
Yeah. So you're grabbing the.
What do you want me to start doing them again, James?
No, not the. All right, time out. I want to get through this, so I'll just quickly talk about pigs. They're
So his jokes aren't super funny today, are they?
unfortunately not. So
He's grabbing the low hanging fruits.
yeah, so pigs are just farm animals. They're not really that aggressive. They can get hunted quite easily. They don't have the physical advantages that a wild boar has with the tusks and just the vicious wildness of nature. So pigs here, cats are just little bloody animals but they are very fast, got good reactions, but they're not going to beat you in like a one-on-one gladiator scenario. So cats would probably be around here. Do you agree?
Yeah, I'd say so. Don't get me wrong, a cat could fuck you up though, for sure.
Yeah. If it sneak attacks you, yeah, and there are some, a cat can scratch at your face, but you're probably going to win in a gladiator arena scenario.
Yeah.
I'd probably put the average dog that's a decent size above humans.
Yeah,
to be honest, they've got.
Yeah,
such
I would agree with that.
They can easily jump up and bite your throat, bite your face, bite your hand, and you
Considering like dogs' main method of attack, at least for bringing humans out, if you've watched like any videos of dog attacks, is they grab your like wrist and they just fucking pull you to the ground.
Yeah, they're super fast. Some dogs are tougher than others. Like I think Labradors, German Shepherds, they're the toughest. Pit Bulls.
Trust me, we've got some like category of dog that were bred to fight bears.
Yeah, bloody hell.
Yeah, the like they're fucking like. So when I say fight bears, I don't mean like they will like fight a bear and kill it one-on-one. Also, they're big enough and intimidating enough that they can actually chase a bear off of farm animals and shit.
Yeah.
Obviously, if the bear was determined, it would probably still kill that dog. But they're big enough that it makes the bear hesitate. Which alone is a fucking feat.
With dogs, they've just got no fear, man. Most dogs will stand their ground for their own, basically take on any animal, even if it means complete defeat and getting its ass kicked.
Yeah.
Insanely tough. Wild boar, I'm kind of stuck on this one. I know
I would say
won't be a dog.
I would say humans struggle a lot to kill wild boars because you underestimate how big a boar can fucking get, and those tusks are not for show.
Yeah,
they are sharp and they will disembowel you.
There's a reason humans needed a spear all these years to take on a wild boar.
There's a reason. Like I said, humans got to where we were because of our ability to create weaponry.
Yeah.
If you put a human without any weaponry, a lot of the animals on this list will kill us.
Exactly. Yeah. Cow. Oh, sorry. Go on.
Okay. So with cows, they're very hard. This is hard to say because obviously, cow and bull are different things. Cows are very heavy, but they're not really the most aggressive thing.
Yeah.
If a cow
I think cows are like bottom tier, probably.
No, I wouldn't go that far. How's a
You underestimate how heavy they are.
You can literally go up to a cow and punch him in the face, and it will run away.
Do you realise how much it weighs?
You gotta look at it.
Yeah, I know how much it weighs, but you can still punch a cow, and it will probably just run away scared.
No, this is a gladiator star, so it has to fight George.
It wouldn't really actually run away scared. I think you're underestimating how heavy a cow is here, and one, punching it would probably hurt your own hand more than it would hurt the cow. And again, like you're thinking of like walking up to a fucking domesticated like farm cow and doing that, where it's probably like been trained to not fight back. If you went up to a cow,
it would be a good test to do.
They would probably run you over.
I think in a gladiator arena, I think a dog would be able to get a cow's weak point and kill it. But I think a wild boar, I think a wild boar and a human, a cow's just too big for it, man. I don't think. I know the tusk.
Yeah. Couldn't you try not distracted by biting out one of the others?
How are you meant to get behind it and bite
again?
it?
Do you really want to get yourself below an animal that could literally lie down and flatten you for doing it?
Yeah, like what if I know cows don't. Cows don't typically sit on people for the attack, but if you bit it, suddenly,
would it not be like? How about if it like kicked one of the others? Would it be like kicking a dick where it would not really hurt?
I don't think.
We could try. I know there's a cow field quite nearby here.
As much as it would be interesting to see animals fight each other, I don't want any animals to be forced to fight each other for entertainment purposes. You know what I'm saying? It's just.
Also, this is really testing who knows what about animals and who doesn't.
Who cares? Just going.
This is a hypothetical.
And kick a fox going down the street or a badger.
Mentally. Anyway, I think a cow would, again, if you bite a cow's udder somehow in a gladiator arena, it's just going to sit on you and you're just going to instantly die.
Yeah, I see where George's logic is coming from. Like, can't you just like go for the udder? It's like, do you really want to put yourself under an animal that heavy?
Yeah, exactly.
James, I've got a question.
Go on.
Is a cow your favourite animal then?
What the hell are you on about?
Well, if it sits down quite a lot and you're under it, you're quite used to that kind of thing, aren't you?
He's trying to make another really bad joke.
Brilliant. No, George, the thing is, at the end of the day, like...
this is a somewhat serious tier list.
Any animal can sit on you, you know. Even if you're a human that, enjoys...
Your eyes see the light of them, like, oh, they could sit on.
So...
his jokes aren't very funny today. He's going for the very low-hanging fruits.
Even if you enjoy big booty baddies, it doesn't mean that you want to get bloody sat on by gigantic animals that will just kill you instantly.
Bull goes into good. Unlike cows, bulls have those horns and they will charge.
Very aggressive, very fast. Bigger than cows as well, way a lot more.
Yeah. Unlike domesticated farm cows, a bull is definitely still going to run you over.
Yeah.
Domesticated or not.
Years ago on holiday, basically this was when I was 7. Me and my family were sleeping, and we were stopping in the middle of nowhere in South Devon, probably about a few miles away from Beer, little village. And we just heard boom, 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 and then bloody we heard like metal flinging it all over the place, and we're like, what the hell's happened? We looked outside. There was like about bloody 7 bulls outside the house. They were bullocks, so they weren't aggressive or anything. So we actually went outside and just looked at them, and they weren't aggressive. They just stood there. Then we went back inside. And my dad, this was around 2009, I think. My dad helped the farmer get all the bulls in, and bullocks. So the young bulls, they're easier to get to move and do what you say. But my dad always told me if it had been a bigger bull, he wouldn't have tried to. If it'd been an adult bull, he wouldn't have helped the farmer, but because they were young bulls, he didn't mind helping. So yeah, bulls are definitely beating a chimp. Like, bro, they're massive. Like, the chimp's not going to rip the bull's face off. Even if it does, the bull is going bam and getting the chimp on the floor and kicking the shit out of it. Like, these things are insanely strong,
Yeah, exactly.
Donkey! You're bothering me! I'd probably put a donkey here, to be honest. They are pretty big and tough.
Yeah,
I reckon.
Funny enough, it's actually suggested that a donkey is actually a better like farm defense system than a gun if you can like train it.
What, with its noise?
No, so donkeys are actually very aggressive and actually really dangerous, but they're stubborn as fuck. Like, it's really difficult to earn the trust of a donkey and a zebra. But if you could earn their trust and loyalty, they're actually better at defending your farm than a loaded gun. Not even kidding.
Damn. I'm trying to look up what it says if a donkey could beat a human. Or a human beast. I'm really unsure. I didn't think they'd be that tough, to be honest. They just look like.
Media clowns on donkeys a lot, but they actually are. They actually can be pretty difficult.
They're nowhere near as big as a horse. Donkey way.
Oh yeah, no, they're definitely the smaller side of that. But like I said, media likes to portray donkeys as comedic light, but it's like they're not as comedic in real life.
Well, look at donkeys versus
and the fuck dragons.
Right.
There we go with the Shrek.
Oh, yeah. There you go. Brilliant.
I think we can
okay, guys.
crash here straight away.
Okay. Peace out, George. Take care.
See ya.
All right. With the donkeys' weight, I mean, there are some donkeys that weigh 80 kg. It says, so I reckon humans can beat them. But if most of them are like 200, 300, 400 kg, I reckon the donkeys are probably going to be about here then, to be honest with you. If they're like 300 kg, like how are we meant to... a human who weighs 300...
The people watching this tier list will quickly realize that weight plays a huge role in this shit.
Yeah. I didn't realise how much a donkey weighed, to be honest. I mean, I've gone to a donkey sanctuary in Devon loads when I was younger, and they didn't seem that big, to be honest. But if they all weigh... But these are donkeys that have had damage done to them and come from, like, countries where they've been treated as slaves. So maybe it's because they're weak donkeys. That could be why they didn't look that big.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll give it to the donkey. Then I'll put the donkey above the bull. The bull's got a very good chance. If a donkey,
basically, anyone who knows animals, humans are not going to be doing as well on this list as you may think.
Yeah.
Again, give humans access to weapons, we'd be at the top of the tier list, no question. But if you go off just human natural ability, there's not a lot we can physically fight.
Yeah. Guinea pig. Sorry, I do enjoy guinea pigs, but there's none of them left in the wild. They're all pets now.
Guinea pig and rabbit are just immediately bad to trash. Like,
yeah,
we can take these easily. In fact, we did.
Yeah, they're all our pet. Well, guinea pigs are our pets, and rabbits run away. So
yeah. Squirrels, I would still put squirrels in bad, but I'd put them ahead of rabbit and guinea pig because they can still be some vicious little fucks.
That's
but
fine. Right?
The main threat of a squirrel is mobbing, like when there's a bunch of them. One on its own is not going to be much. So what type of animal is this one? Just a regular badger?
Oh, just a normal badger. I'd probably put it either here or here, to be honest. Where do you reckon? I'm a bit stuck.
Hard to say. I don't actually know a huge amount about normal badgers. Honey badger, on the other hand, I know a decent bit.
Their claws are very vicious. I'll probably put them above the average human, to be honest with you. Claws are insanely vicious. Yeah. I just think they're big, tough. They're quite fast. They kill like foxes, I'm pretty sure. Big, tough things. Probably beat the average human.
Probably.
Honey badger, though, probably they're blue, or maybe.
Yeah. If you know about honey badger, so honey badgers have decent claws and teeth, but the main thing they have is fucking crackhead aggression.
Yeah.
They like honey badger will square up to fucking anything, and just attack it with such blind confidence and aggression that the thing backs the fuck off.
Yeah.
But also, like, for one, honey badgers will religiously go for the nuts of whatever they're attacking as well.
Mm-hmm.
Not even joking that, like, if you pick a fight with a honey badger, it will go for the nuts, not even questioning it.
Yeah.
But also, like, I mean, one honey badger, this should, like, specify, like, the fucking temperament of a honey badger more than anything, is Stelfo, if you know that one.
No.
So Stelfo was a honey badger in captivity, right? And this shows you how smart honey badgers are. His pastime was escaping his enclosure.
Okay.
Like he would, and keep like he was hand raised by the people at the zoo, and so imprinted on them. So every time he broke out, he had no intent of going anywhere. He was doing it as a pastime for shits and giggles.
Very tactical and smart.
Yeah, he would regularly, like, whether it be like he would break the lock and get out, or like he would make like a pile of rocks and use it to climb the wall. Like the ways he found out to escape his enclosure was creative.
Yeah, man.
So this shows you like the intelligence of a honey badger and the fact they actually have like problem-solving skills. But also, one time, Stelfo broke out and ended up in the lion enclosure where he got mauled, right, by 3 lions.
Oh.
After I think it was like a month in the hospital, the first thing he did when he got out was go right back at the lion den to settle that score.
Yeah.
Man literally went back for a round 2.
Damn.
And again, like, honey badgers will fight animals that, by all accounts, should kill them in a single hit, but they survive by just crackhead courage.
Mm-hmm. Good, fair comment, man.
Yeah. So I would definitely put them in the good tier because I don't think a honey badger could kill a chimp, but they would definitely give the chimp the fight of its fucking life.
Yeah, the chimp would probably get quite scared and think, I can't just mess around and wound this.
Yeah.
I have to kill it.
I mean, honey badger skin is actually kind of stretchy, so if a chimp, like, for example, if an animal like bites or like latches its claws into like the back of a honey badger, their skin is stretchy enough that they can turn around and bite the thing back.
Mm-hmm.
So I imagine like what would happen is a chimp would grab the honey badger, and the honey badger would immediately like stretch itself around to bite the chimp.
Oh, scary thing.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, us, bro. A horse. Is whooping a chimp.
A horse's kick is fucking lethal.
Yeah, like I'm not.
That shit breaks bones.
Yeah, I think it's got a good chance against the bull, but I just think the bull's durability will just be too much.
I think the bull would take it against the horse. I agree.
Yeah,
but the horse, I think, could take the chimp because, again, that kick is fucking lethal. Horses are actually pretty big, and if a horse has a height advantage on you, it will just start stomping.
Exactly, and the thing is as well, like, how's the chimp meant to really rip anything off of the horse? Like, he can try, but the horse is just going to stomp and run around it and then do the back kick, which is insanely, ridiculously strong. Chimps are very durable and tough, like, they throw rocks at each other, but it's not taking a horse kick. No chance.
Yeah.
There's not really that many animals that are tough enough to take a horse kick head on.
Yeah.
Have a lot
trust me, we'll get to those. We'll get to those. By the end of this, the great category is going to be filled up with some right monsters.
Yeah.
By the end of this.
Now, I've thought about this before, and the average human isn't beating a cheetah in a gladiator competition. And in the wild, the cheetah has a good chance against a lot of things because of the sneak attack. However, in a one-on-one gladiator scenario, I don't think it beats all of these, to be honest with you. I think
cheetahs they're fast, but speed is all they have. Yeah. And quite regularly, cheetahs get punked out of their food by other animals. In fact, fucking honey badgers steal from cheetahs.
Exactly.
Like, because whilst cheetahs have speed, that's about all they have for them. They can't climb like a leopard or a jaguar. They're not as bulky as a leopard or a jaguar. And generally, they will just get fucking taken down by most things. Like most animals, a pack of vultures can bully a cheetah off its prey.
Yeah, exactly.
In fact, they do.
So, fair comment. And we have a croc. I'm really stuck where to put the croc. I know it beats a chimp and a honey badger, but with a bull, I just don't see how a croc or an alligator takes a bull down. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know either.
Scenario. But it's not. But the thing is, can the horse stomp it out or not? I don't know.
I think
in a gladiator combat scenario.
Yeah. We can't underestimate the fucking bite force of a crocodile or an alligator.
Yeah.
That bite is some dangerous shit.
I'll probably put them both here, to be honest, if I'm being real. They are very tough. Very durable, but I just think the bull's aggressiveness, man. I know I say this over and over again, but I just think people when you see bulls, like the sad videos online where bulls escape and they start killing humans, or some humans winding up a bull and it kills it. They're absolutely lethal things. I know crocodiles are lethal as well, and the croc and alligator might best the bull a few times out of 10. But I think
it comes down to ambush with those two.
Yeah. In a one-on-one,
I'd say crocodile's definitely ahead of alligator just because they're significantly more aggressive than alligator. Like with alligator, people in Florida have to deal with those things on their front lawn all the time.
Yeah, exactly.
That said, if we're going on to alligator and crocodile, now we have to talk about the fucking genetic monstrosity.
Oh yeah, Gustav. Here he is. I didn't get a good photo of him. Massive
Yep.
geezer.
Right, Gustav goes into great to amazing, I reckon.
Fair enough.
The only thing going in goat should be a fucking elephant, let's be real.
Yeah.
Because elephants are the thing on this list nothing is touching.
True.
Right, so let's talk about this genetic monstrosity.
Yeah, so with Gustav, I know he's what was he 2,000 pounds and 20.
He's a
feet
20-foot long, 2,000-pound crocodile.
Yeah, can run pretty quick as well, can't he? Isn't he like? Wouldn't he run 40 miles an hour?
Yeah. Like I said, he is a full-on genetic monstrosity.
Let's look it up. Gustav Croc speed. Oh, 18 miles an hour in water, and then land speeds of 15 to 22. But that is still that's still quite fast for a big lad, a big freak of nature type of crocodile. You know. So
Yeah.
got to give him street credit. And he preyed on hippos as well. Like anything that can sneak attack a hippo and kill it, you've got to give it a lot of credit. You know.
Yeah.
Absolute beast of the game. Have you got anything else you want to say about Gustav before moving on to lions? Or
Right. So with Gustav, as I said, because he was so much bigger than what a croc normally would get to. He preyed on like buffalo or bison or something like that. But yeah, I think it was buffalo, or like his like K buffalo. He preyed on hippos, which already, if you know anything about hippos, should tell you how much of a fucking menace this croc was. And he preyed on humans. In fact, I think it was on record he killed like 300 people, I believe. Yeah. And before anyone says like they just take a hunting rifle, Gustav also is on record of being semi-bulletproof. Because in sightings of him, it's noted that he had like what looks like marks on his like hide that were made from a gun.
Terrifying. Imagine being unfortunate to be one of the 60 to 300 people that got killed by him. Like, he looks terrifying. He's being killed by any of these animals would be scary, but Gustav, goodness gracious.
Yeah.
Really like a dinosaur, man.
Yeah, exactly. Like, I reckon just because of Gustav's size and, like, weight on top of, like, the fact he has the crocodile, like, ridiculous bite, Gustav is killing pretty much most of the things we've talked about on this list with very relative ease.
Yeah, chimp, he just bites it to pieces. Horse, I don't see what a horse is going to do again. I know the horse kick is powerful, but Gustav's so low to the ground, it's not going to do that much damage. Just bites.
Like, most of these animals, like, Gustav will probably end these fights in literally one bite for, like, almost everything here.
Bull, powerful horns, but again, one bite, done for.
The issue of trying to use your horns here is it means you have to get your head close to that mouth.
Exactly. That's going to be the only kill shot. You know?
Exactly. Alright, yeah.
Oops. Now on to lion. It's the circle.
I would put lion in great. Just because lions do hunt, like, for example, K buffalo. Now, not very often because they're still super dangerous, but yeah, they do hunt K buffalo, and K buffalo are basically fucking bulls on steroids.
Yeah,
like they're bigger, they're more aggressive, they run in bigger herds. Yeah, no. If a lion can take those down, a bull shouldn't be much of an issue for a lion. And I think I think some lions do like prey on like crocs as well if one's out of the water.
Yeah. Lions
a singular lion is not getting past Gustav though. Yeah. Let's be real on that.
Lions are just so big and powerful, man, with their bite and their bloody speed.
They are.
And their claws. They're just terrifying things, man. I know it's usually the lionesses that do the hunting, but they're pretty much on similar power levels, I'm imagining.
With lionesses are built better for speed, so they're better at hunting and chasing prey down. Male lions are built more for power, so they're better at defending the home.
Yeah.
If that makes sense.
The king of the Pride Lands.
But also, there are occasional times when a male lion also has to help in a hunt with because they need the extra power to bring something big down. Normally, that's the case when it comes to a K buffalo. Is normally it requires a male lion to bring them down.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, big deadly tough geezers. Now on to sheep.
Humans definitely can take a sheep.
Yeah. I
Not
mean,
even
they've got a bit of strength. They can bite pretty hard, but I reckon a human whoops a sheep. I reckon a sheep probably gets past a pig because of its teeth and all that stuff.
Yeah.
They can be a bit aggressive. Yeah, I think sheep's kind of tough. Baboon probably around here. Maybe a honey badger. I don't know. What do you reckon?
You'll notice the monkeys will be filling those higher categories.
Yeah. Where do you reckon they'll a baboon?
So baboons are relatively chill, but let's not forget about their dental work. They have some fucking teeth on them.
Yeah.
And most baboon, it depends on the type of baboon. Some can be relatively small. Some can be actually pretty big. I think it's entirely dependent on the type of baboon. But generally, baboons seem to be pretty chill as long as you don't fuck with them.
Mm-hmm. Do you reckon a baboon beats a honey badger in a gladiator 1v1 or?
I reckon they're about even, just because I would say honey badger would win just because of, again, the crackhead courage.
Yeah, fair play.
Tiger's next. Above lion.
Oh yeah, they're quite big, aren't they?
Yeah, tigers are the biggest natural big cat. I have to say natural because obviously there's ligers, which are a genetic freak that honestly don't even fully function. For reference, I think it's ligers. Because it's a fusion between a lion and a tiger. Their body genetically doesn't match, and so they just don't stop growing and eventually die to their own height and weight because their body doesn't know when to stop growing.
I'm looking at some pictures online, and bloody hell, it looks like a absolute, I don't know, way more terrifying. I don't see how people are kept these.
Ligers aren't a thing that would naturally occur in nature.
Yeah.
So whilst ligers are technically the largest big cat, they're not natural.
Yeah.
Because given where lions and tigers tend to live, there is almost no situation the two would naturally meet.
Mm-hmm.
For that thing to spawn. But also, ligers immune system. They basically have the pug treatment. Their body doesn't really hold itself together.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, so tigers, they're bigger than lions. A tiger's claw swipe can have about 2,000 pounds of force to it, which that's taking your head off.
Yeah.
They have a powerful bite. They prey on most things, and top of that, they have natural built camouflage for most animals. Most animals that tigers hunt can't see the color orange. Yeah. So to them, a tiger is just a series of black stripes, which when you're trying to distinguish that from foliage in the forest, is practically not happening.
Yeah,
on top of that, a tiger's roar at close range is actually strong enough to paralyze a human.
Yeah, bro, I was telling my gaffer at work about this, and he was saying, "No, it's not. No." I said, "Yes, it is. Look on Google." He said, "The AI is wrong." And I said, "What are you on about?" And I said, "It can paralyze you." It says in all these articles, and they're saying, "No, how do they know that?" And I said, "Well, there's been situations where people haven't been able to move because of the roar." He said, "That's just because of fear." And I went, "Yeah, but if you're paralyzed in fear, you're still paralyzed. You still can't move. Ridiculous."
Yeah. There are some people out there that really overestimate or underestimate certain animals or people. Yeah. I get the people who say Mike Tyson could beat a chimp. I repeat. But Prime Mike Tyson was indeed a monster. But a chimp's still a fucking chimp.
Because I was saying to them, because we had this debate at work ages ago, and way more people saying the chimp would lose. And I was like, okay, in a boxing scenario, if you somehow tape the chimp's mouth shut with some nuzzle thing on it, and you forcibly strap boxing gloves on its fist so it can't get the boxing gloves off, then Mike would be able to beat it in a boxing match, probably, and take it to a decision, as a chimp doesn't know how to box. However, if you have a proper fight with
Oh, yeah,
like,
so Mike Tyson could beat the chimp. We just have to completely nerf the chimp in a way it's not known to fight
yeah,
to give him the advantage.
yeah, so
That's
I agree.
effectively what that argument comes down to.
Yeah, so
But
that
Mike could do. We just have to severely nerf the chimp to
Yeah.
a point where it can't even function as a chimp.
But if you bloody had a fist fight with the chimp, bro, the chimp's ripping Mike's face off straight away and just biting his neck or bloody
Yeah.
ripping his hands off.
But
Like, bro,
also,
he's done.
chimps have really strong bone density. Mike punching a chimp will hurt his hand more than it will hurt the chimp.
Yeah, exactly. But not taking anything away from Mike, he's insanely. He was
Yeah,
insanely
like I said,
good in
Prime
the
Mike Tyson is still a monster. It's
Yeah.
just people severely underestimate how fucking deadly a chimp can get.
Yeah, exactly.
Like I said, Mike will probably break his hand before he does any significant damage to the chimp after punching it.
Mm-hmm.
Just because, again, chimps have ridiculous bone density.
Here we go.
Right. But yeah, tigers, they're walking thing.
Zach,
Also, tigers are probably one of the most, like, vindictive animals on this list.
what do you mean, vindictive or?
Vindictive, yeah. That's what I meant. For example, there was a hunter once who, like, stole a tiger's kill from it, right? And he shot the tiger. After the tiger's shot wound had healed, which, keep in mind, like, that's probably, like, a few days, weeks later, maybe. The tiger tracked that hunter down to his cabin, waited for him to leave, and then broke into his home, destroyed anything that had his scent on it, and then lied in wait for him to come back and ambushed him when he got home.
Damn.
All because he took the tiger's kill. Like, tigers are vindictive as fuck. You wrong a tiger, it will pay you back.
Yeah, I guess in that sense, it's. I don't think it's like bitter like a chimp or a hippo, but it's definitely one of those animals that if you mock it a bit and its pride gets wounded, if you've knocked its ego and take its kill, it's going to be pissed off. I'll just quickly go through the comments though. Hey up, lads. Where's Tom on this list? Mini Tom isn't. I wouldn't call him. If you want to count him as an average human, which he's not like the average man. I'm not trying to be disrespectful to him. He's quite short and he doesn't look like he's got man strength, but he'd be an average. Mr. Adams would take a line with his Benson. Oh dear, I don't know what.
And now we got the memes coming in.
Give those teeth to Callum. I can't remember which animal. Could you beat your co-host? So Scotty's just a guest. If you're on about Liam and George, Liam has never trained, and with all due respect, George was absolutely useless at karate. Like, he had no gas tank, he had no power, he had no speed, his combinations weren't good, his movement wasn't that good. I'm pretty sure I would beat George, but if George trained loads, because I can't train anymore due to a few physical issues, if George trained loads of MMA and listened to what the trainers said, if he did that for 6 months to a year, I reckon he wins. I do think George would beat anyone who takes it seriously and trains for a bit. I reckon can beat me because I'm just going off of like old skills. But if you're on about Scott, I mean, I did all sorts of martial arts. He did boxing, so I don't know.
Going into this debate here, I'm just going to be honest with this now. I would not beat James because I'm physically disabled at the moment. If we're talking about me before that, it would be a bit more of a question because I had a lot of strength. But
you were pretty.
James did a lot more training.
But the problem is, it's not really the only way it's fair. Like, there's two aspects you can look at it. If me and you had a boxing match, that's fair. But you did a lot of boxing. If we had an MMA fight, I did. I've done all.
Yeah,
sorts
you
of
did
martial
MMA.
arts. Kick, side kick, roundhouse kick, head kick, body kick. I can take people down. So it's not really fair.
But also this aspect of I had a lot of natural brute strength, but you actually train.
Yeah, that too.
There's also that. But also, like I said, at the moment, though, 100%, I reckon you would win if we fought now, just because, again, I'm physically disabled.
Yeah, it's one of those things. But I reckon with, if I look at it objectively, if Scott, if you train loads with your size advantage and you got in good shape, if you did loads of MMA, you'd be in a bigger division, so you'd probably win. But if you didn't train MMA and you just did boxing, I reckon I'd win even if you did have the size, because kicks play. And grappling,
once kicks come into play, it becomes a different ball game.
So difficult because boxers are used to defending with their shoulders and head movement, but if you get kicked in the belly or the leg, you're like, Yeah. George could beat you, bro. I've got a size advantage over George, and he has no defense. He fights like with his hands down and his chin up. Like, how's he gonna? His chin's there for the hitting.
Yeah.
Um,
I reckon even with my physical crippled disability self, I could probably beat George.
thing is, as well with George, he can't kick that high. He can only really kick quite low. So I think if you charged in with a load of punches, I'll give you the win probably. But if you gassed out and George took all your punches, I reckon he's got an all right chance. But the problem is he gasses out as well. So I don't know.
The thing we have to assume there is can he take a punch from me? That's the question.
He had he was kind of durable at karate, but in karate the sparring was never like you never hit someone really hard to the body or you never hit someone really hard to the face. So it's one of those difficult things, really. And then he never came to Thai boxing or MMA with me, so it's difficult. I'd say he probably would get floored after a few punches, but I don't know.
Yeah, to be fair, when it comes to fights, it's semantics anyway.
Yeah, what semantics mean? Just like look, a lottery,
like various variables and stuff. So stuff just basically various variables and stuff. So it's not like a hard set in stone. It's like bits here, bits there, change interchangeably. Yeah. All right, George, the gorillas finally made their appearance.
George, I said earlier, George, if you were watching, I said if you did loads of MMA training right now and listen to what they said for 6 months to a year, I reckon you'd be able to beat me and a lot of people. I put a gorilla in great. Yeah, he's a beast. I reckon he could probably knock over the bull. I mean, it's close. It's kind of close. Yeah.
I know this is immediately contradicting what we were talking about at the beginning of the stream. But I said gorillas, like, even though it seemed like we were slandering gorillas there at the beginning, they are still very strong. They're still like roughly 8 times human strength, and they do still they have a bite that is stronger than a bear still.
Yeah.
So gorillas are still definitely like a big threat. It's just, again, they haven't got a lot of energy.
Yeah.
So whatever they fight, they would have to kill it quickly before they gas out. You'll find a lot of the stuff gorillas lose to is the stuff's it's either durable enough the gorilla can't put it down in time, or it's something that is specifically built that it can kill the gorilla.
Yeah.
For example, anything that could deal any kind of slashing basically wins against a gorilla. Because gorillas get preyed on by leopards and stuff all the time, despite the strength advantage.
Yeah.
Just because a gorilla doesn't really have ways to stop itself bleeding properly. So, and that. So, because I say gorillas do get preyed on by leopards all the fucking time. It's like the main thing that preys on them. And again, gorillas, yes, they have the strength advantage on a leopard, but the gorillas can't naturally stop themselves bleeding properly. If a leopard cuts a gorilla, it is going to most likely bleed out before anything else. So any big cat, like for example, a lion could probably take a gorilla. A tiger is definitely taking a gorilla. Leopard, I already just said, takes a gorilla. Jaguars are basically leopards on steroids. That takes a gorilla. Like, a bear isn't even in the fucking debate. The bear is just so astronomically out of a gorilla's league. It's not even fair.
Yeah, man. Kangaroo.
So kangaroos are actually an interesting one. I would put them up maybe next to human.
You reckon a badger has it?
It's hard to say because kangaroos have a sharp toe and they can actually disembowel you with a kick.
Oh, okay, interesting.
Yeah. So a kangaroo can actually kill you with one well-placed kick because they have a sharp toe.
Yeah.
So that's why I say kangaroos are an interesting one. And also, I
was just going to quickly say as well. I feel like when I've seen videos, like humans have actually took on kangaroos and basically mugged them off. Sometimes, like average humans. So, wait, George just put. Wait. For goodness sake. Mini Tom would be beat by a hamster, lol. No, kangaroo's the goat. What are you on about? Crazy. What was I saying? Yeah, I guess, kangaroos are pretty strong. They can rip things off cars, but does that mean it can win in a gladiator arena fight? Yeah, difficult one, as you say. If it gets a well-placed kick, as you say, it probably wins. If not,
Yeah.
then
The
probably
kangaroo, it does entirely come down to does it get a well-placed kick. If
Mm.
it does, it probably wins. If it doesn't, you have a much more of a chance.
yeah, a Komodo dragon.
That's going into either great or good. Those
Yeah.
things are fucking lethal.
I know they've got their lethal bite, but wouldn't I can't
They're-
remember what the viciousness
They're
of them.
big, they're strong, they're heavy, they have a lot of muscle, and they basically win if they get a good bite.
Well, I looked it up, and it says saltwater crocodile would win against the dragon due to its size, strength, bite force. While a dragon possesses a venomous bite, a drawn-out battle would favour the croc's immense power. However, Komodo dragon is not without its advantages, including agility. So it says the
Yeah.
crocodile would likely win, but I'll put it in between croc and alligator then.
Yeah.
But all I'll say is it can
What we
probably.
gotta look at here is if the Komodo dragon gets a solid bite on anything on this list, it just wins the fight outright.
Well, wouldn't it says online that it will probably kill him afterward? Does the bite kill you straight away then, or does it take days?
So what their bite does is it stops your body coagulating. So basically, it does you don't stop bleeding.
Oh, okay.
Once they bite you, you will bleed out. Even if you kill the dragon afterwards, or before then, you will still die to the blood loss afterwards.
Yeah, so in a sense, it's won the fight, but if
So basically,
it's
Komodo-
already dead.
If the Komodo dragon gets a solid bite, it just basically, if it doesn't kill you outright, it just ties whatever it was fighting, because whatever it's fighting is basically doomed to die afterwards.
So pretty much, if it bites, let's say a hippo, and it gets through the skin somehow,
Yeah, it actually is able to draw blood. Yeah.
the hippo will probably die like a few hours later, but at the time, the hippo has technically won the fight. So
Yeah, the hippo would win the fight, but then die hours later to blood loss, basically.
Yeah. Now
That's
we
basically
have
how it goes.
before the hyena comes, dig a tunnel, dig a tunnel.
Okay, so fun fact here: hyenas, I would say, top of good to bottom of great.
Damn.
Their bite
Hyena
is strong enough to
1v1.
break bone, and funny enough, lions and hyenas, basically, depending on the area, will steal food from each other. In fact, lions actually, on record, will actually steal food from hyenas more than hyenas will steal from lions.
I thought hyenas were only good though if they're in groups. I thought in 1v1s, like even a chimp.
Oh, a lion in a 1v1 is killing a hyena, no question.
No, but I
But
mean,
you
like
can't underestimate that fucking bite.
I might look
But
at-
also, hyenas' teeth regularly has rotten flesh
Oh,
stuck
yeah,
in it,
so you
which
die
will
from-
give you one hell of a fucking infection. So they play by Komodo dragon rules.
Yeah.
Like the bite, unlike a Komodo dragon where a bite is effectively a guaranteed kill, odds are the bite from a hyena will break the bone, and because of the rotten flesh in the meat, rotten flesh in the teeth, will probably give you an infection that could most likely kill you, but you still have a chance it won't. So they play by Komodo dragon rules of their bite is basically what decides it.
I'll put it. This is what I think. I'll put it here because even if it bites a horse, right, it's going to
Yeah.
get kicked in the face, and I can't see it taking a kick in the face. They're always in groups. I reckon it beats a
Yeah.
chimp, beats a honey badger, but I think a horse would just kick it in the face and
Yeah.
it dies. But if it bites the horse,
Well, I
obviously-
said hyenas one of the things
Already-
honey badgers fight regularly, but again, honey badgers win by crackhead courage.
yeah,
Like they just happen to be aggressive and violent enough that they can get a hyena to back off. But they've had that's the case with most animals. Most animals, a honey badger can tell them to fuck off, and they will.
yeah. Wolf.
Wolf are definitely better than any dog.
Yeah,
So they would, and also again,
a chimp.
it's an interesting one because it comes down to they're a pack animal most of the time, so it comes
Yeah.
down to one on their own is still better than most dogs, but definitely wouldn't be able to beat some of the things on this list by itself. If it
Yeah.
had a pack, on the other hand, then yeah,
Fair.
like no question, it could bring down most things. But then if we allow wolves to use pack tactics, so we would have to allow it for hyenas as well.
Mhm.
And this is just assuming the one-on-one here.
Yeah.
Because
I'll put
any
one
animal on
for it.
this list could be any animal on the list if you give them enough numbers. Let's be honest
True.
on that.
Very true. I think that's the grizzly, isn't it? And that's the brown bear, I'm guessing.
Yeah. So grizzly are basically a subcategory of brown bear.
Ah, okay,
Funny
fair
enough,
enough.
they're
Put them both in
not
there, then.
quite the same, but they're basically the same.
I'll put them both in amazing. Any bear is absolutely deadly with the claws and the bite force, size, climb.
When it comes to bears, God really did just say, here's an all-terrain animal that can out-muscle, run, climb, and swim pretty much almost anything in their area code, and just told the rest of the world to deal with it. Bears are physically stronger than almost anything you will see on this list, with the exception of a handful. They're faster than most things on this list. They can climb faster than most things on this list. They can swim faster than most things on this list. You see where this is going. They're physically strong. Like a bear can casually knock a dumpster flying around. And whilst a gorilla technically has a stronger bite force, the bear just has it beat in literally every other fucking category. A lion and a tiger are not fucking with a bear. Let's be real.
Yeah.
At least not a brown bear or a grizzly bear. Sloth bear, tigers do actually prey on those, but it's a gamble. Because sloth bears have very strong claws and are hyper aggressive, and they will fight to the fucking end.
Yeah.
But a grizzly bear and brown bear, yeah, no. I'm gonna be honest and say this: like, most of the things on this list are not taking them.
Very true.
Let's just be honest about.
And you know something that's funny though? We bring the polar bear up. People say with one of the types of bears you play dead. With the other type of bear, you just make yourself look big so it runs off. Polar bear, you can't do anything because it's found you.
Yeah, the saying is, if it's black, fight back. So referring to black bears, because black bears are small and timid enough that you can scare them off. Also, I'm going to say this now. When they say fight back, they don't mean literally fight. They mean make yourself look big and intimidating, and it will probably run.
Yeah.
If it's brown, get on the ground. Basically, play dead. And if it's white, say goodnight. And that's because there is nothing you can do against a polar bear.
Yeah. It's basically found you, you're screwed.
Basically, a polar bear is basically take a brown bear and put it on steroids because they are bigger. And they basically, everything that applied to the brown bear applies to a polar bear.
Yeah.
But also, a polar bear is really, really good at tracking. Like, they can track a seal for over 20 miles.
That is
So
terrifying.
if a polar bear pulls up on you, it knew you were there ages ago, and what it's about to do to you was completely premeditated.
Exactly. The only way you sort of survive is if you've gone on some expedition with a bunch of people in a car and you've gone to a place to look at polar bears. But I don't see why you'd want to do that.
Planes landing in the Arctic are equipped with a double-barrel shotgun purely for in the event a polar bear pulls up to the landing site.
Yeah. Fair comment. Sheep, I will just put that near sheep again.
Yeah, sheep are pretty low on them. We got sheep on there twice.
Yeah.
I guess that's just how bad they are.
Fox below human. I reckon human beats fox. You might get bit up a bit and a bit injured and stuff, but in a one-on-one gladiator star, human probably beats fox.
And this is not looking good for the animals on this tier list. We got the big three next. Yep.
As much as hippos are aggressive twats and kill a lot of humans, and they're just complete plebs and morons, you can't deny their skin is ridiculously thick. They can take bullets. You have to, even if you have a sword, it's going to be difficult to kill it. Even if you shoot it loads with a pistol, it's not going to do anything.
Basically,
it's just going to
kill it. A hippo will casually walk through a pride of lions with no regard for its safety because it knows they can't do shit.
Yeah, exactly.
Hippos are insanely bulky. Like they are all they're not fat like they look. They are all muscle under there. They are shockingly quick. They are super heavy. Their bite is strong enough to put a crocodile in half, and we know this because we have seen it happen.
Yeah.
And on top of that, they're just super hyper aggressive. And like I said, their skin is really tough. Like it takes you are not getting through that skin.
Yeah.
Without
also-
a weapon. Like there is zero things a human could do to get through a hippo's hide. Let's be honest.
The male ones weigh 4,000 pounds. They're ridiculously fast and agile. They're amazing at swimming as well. It's just a shame that they're bloody bitter twats and just
Yeah.
so horrible.
For reference, I know some people say, "Oh, if a hippo charges me, I'll just sidestep it and punch it in the eye." For one, good luck sidestepping a charging hippo. It's fast. And two, odds are you will break your fucking hand and arm on the punch, and the hippo won't even have felt it.
Yeah, the thing is, even if you sidestep it somehow, it's just going to bloody turn around and just stomp on you or bite
Yeah.
you.
Now, the reason we put hippos above Gustav here, even though Gustav did prey on hippos, and that's because, for the most part, Gustav was a genetic freak. Like he's an exception, not the rule, when it comes to crocodiles and hippo interactions.
And if granted, he snuck up on them and killed them, but if they're in a one-on-one scenario, it's close. But you got to give it. Gustav might win some of the time, but I feel like you've got to give it more to the hippo.
Basically, hippos operate on the rule of you get if you're attacking a hippo, assume you have one shot. If that one shot is not going to stop it, you are dead. And if what you say, like, if a bear could take a hippo, no, the bear's not winning this trade either.
Yeah.
Whilst the bears are fucking, like, strong, like, they will take on pretty much anything else on this list. For reference, polar bears go after, like, walruses and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And that's already a fight that polar bears do actually die in. And a hippo is a more mobile, more aggressive walrus, basically.
How the hell does a walrus beat a bloody
The tusks.
polar
But
bear?
also, they're just really heavy and a lot of blubber. It's hard for a polar bear to break through it.
I don't even get.
Like I said, walrus tusks are pretty lethal.
Yeah.
But imagine this: a walrus has two of those tusks. A fucking hippo has 4 of them. And a hippo is basically a more agile, more aggressive, and slightly heavier walrus. And polar bears already struggle with them. So a hippo is gonna fucking run a polar bear over.
Yeah. It says polar bear cannot injure the walrus in any way beyond shallow scratches. Walruses fight back by rearing up and slamming the weight down.
Yep.
Oh damn! I'm surprised. I thought a bear would just bloody charge it and bite it to pieces, but it must just have tough skin, like you say.
Yeah, like I said, so as much as like a polar bear, grizzly bear, brown bear are taking pretty much anything else on this list, they would not be able to overcome a hippo.
Yeah.
Because again, if the biggest bear is struggling with a walrus, it's not going to beat the more agile, heavier walrus that is a hippo.
Yeah. Now on to rhino. I'm putting it behind hippo. I know Gustav is a beast, but I just think I know rhinos can't see very well. I just think
Rhinos are bigger and physically stronger than hippos, and they have that horn, but they're also practically blind.
Yeah, exactly. And their best chance is a really quick charge at the hippo and getting a perfect pierce, or the hippo just flops and bloody, I don't know, it just keeps getting stabbed by the rhino's horn. Because that has happened. Some hippos have run off from rhinos, and some rhinos have run off from hippos. Very close fight, but more time. As much as I'd love to put the rhino here because I am a big fan, I don't like hippos. They're twats. End of the day, you've got to be honest and objective. Hippos are probably fine with getting stabbed by the rhino's horns, and eventually it probably just will bloody stomp it to pieces eventually, but it would be a very close fight, I reckon, between those two.
But yeah, I would say a lot of this list isn't really dealing with a rhino, because if they can't handle a hippo, as I said, rhinos are basically just bigger hippos, but not as aggressive, and the fact they can't see, yeah. Also, in case people don't know, there are actually cases where hippos will full-on head charge a car, and they win the trade.
Yeah.
As well. So again, if anyone hasn't realized how dangerous a hippo is to this tier list.
Yeah, you got no chance driving it in a car. It's just going to bloody destroy the windows and jump on the car and horrible.
But yeah, no. So I would put Rhino behind him just because again they're practically blind and they rely a lot more on just blind charging.
Yeah. And now we have the goat! The goat! An elephant, yeah. Bro, it's massive. They weigh 6,000 kg. These African male elephants.
Right, elephant. We're going to be honest with this right now. Nothing on this list is dealing with an elephant.
Yeah,
Straight up, we're just going to be honest about that. Elephant is the only one going in goat because literally nothing else on this list could touch them.
exactly.
Elephants are the one animal hippos do not fuck with. Because
Exactly.
hippos will still fuck with rhinos.
Mhm.
But they will not fuck with elephants. They know better.
Yeah. Damn straight, man. Elephants don't have anything to compensate for. They're very laid back and cool. But if you mess with them, it can stomp you, kick you, hit you with its trunk, its tusks.
It's the same argument for like hippo. They tough skin. They're big. They're strong. They have the tusks. Their trunk is really strong and like flexible. Like nothing in nature naturally can actually really harm them. The only reason humans can is because because of weaponry.
Yeah.
Again, the only thing on this list that really is bringing down an elephant is a human armed with specific weaponry,
Yeah.
but not including our weaponry. Yeah, no, we're not doing a lot to these things. Nothing in
Very
nature is touching an elephant. Let's be honest.
Yeah, it's so big, deadly tough. And I'm glad that they're the goat because, as I say, I don't like hippos. They're very horrible and
Yeah.
nasty things. Elephants
And
are
again,
pretty...
if people don't believe me on the whole elephants are the one thing hippos don't fuck with, I've seen videos where like you have an entire lake that is just full of hippos. Like the lake is more hippo than lake at this point.
Yeah.
Elephant walks up, the hippos fucking part the lake for it to walk through.
Mm.
They all just get out the fucking way.
Yeah.
I've also seen a video where a hippo was bullying a baby elephant until the mom showed up and proceeded to flip the hippo with little effort.
If you could send me that, that'd be pretty cool. I'd like to see that video.
I've been trying to, but I can't find it. But I remember seeing it once, but it seems to have disappeared from YouTube now. There's images of it though.
Yeah, I'll try.
But the actual video seems to have fucking vanished into the ether. But
No,
yeah, no, but straight up, hippo, like elephant walked up and flipped a hippo with little effort.
Yeah.
Yep.
Now we have a giraffe. It probably beats gorilla with its size advantage, I reckon. Like it might lose. A gorilla could rush it and push it over.
Giraffes have a very lethal kick, and they can use their neck like a whip.
Exactly. Yeah,
in fact, that's one of the methods they use to attack. That's it. If you can get on giraffe's back, you're pretty good. Which is how lions hunt giraffes. They go on their back.
Mhm.
But don't underestimate a giraffe's kick, or the fact they can swing their head like a whip.
Would you put it above lion and in between tiger, or?
I would put it behind lion because prides of lions can and do hunt giraffes, though rarely. Yeah. But like I said, you basically have to jump on the giraffe's back. Because if you can't get on its back, the giraffe's just going to kick you, and that's basically lights out.
Yeah.
Zebra.
Marty!
Basically, zebra are in the same boat as donkey, just super aggressive prey animal.
Oh, fair enough.
Fact, zebras are actually responsible for the most zoo injuries.
I didn't know, bloody hell. I guess we could put it here then.
Not the worst zoo injuries, because that goes to chimps, but zebras definitely have the most.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, on to, in my opinion, the greatest fighter in the world currently, who knows he's a mixed martial artist, so he puts it all together the best. Tom Aspinall. He's a great guy from Wigan. I'd love to fight him. Well, I wouldn't love to fight him, but he always says about his opponents, he's a great guy. I'd love to fight him. I honestly think he's around here, to be honest. I reckon he kicks a wild boar in the face and just is able to batter it somehow and beat it. Beats the shit out of a badger. He's too tall. The badger's not going to be able to get to him. Like he's 6'4", insanely fast, can kick, punch, wrestle, knee, elbow. Again, I know I won't be able to elbow a badger, but still his kicks are going to absolutely batter it. Beats a cheetah. You could probably wrestle it and choke it out. He might die against a cheetah because of the bite, but he could die against any of these animals. But I think he's going to win, even if he's mortally wounded.
Yeah.
Donkeys.
Also, another thing is, it's going to seem like I'm bullying cheetahs at this point, but another part, baby cheetahs have evolved to look like baby honey badgers.
Yeah.
And the reason they have evolved like this is because, like, due to a honey badger's natural, like, reputation in the wild, baby cheetahs, like, evolve to look like them, so they know things won't fuck with them until they grow up. because
Yeah.
again, because of honey badger's like reputation in nature of being this like hyper aggressive crackhead.
Yeah.
Animals know not to try and fuck with a baby honey badger.
Yeah, man. Oh yeah, but don't get me wrong though. Maybe Tom Aspinall somehow knocks out a donkey, knocks out a zebra. Maybe somehow beats a cow and a vicious dog, but I doubt it. I highly doubt it.
I doubt it.
I
Yeah,
think they win way. These 4 animals win way more.
I would actually say I think he would be behind the boar because boars,
You reckon?
they get very big, and again they can disembowel you with those tusks.
I might see what it says on Google. I might see good MMA fighter, heavyweight versus wild boar. Let's see what AI says. It says MMA fight would likely win due to training and skills. Wild boars are powerful and can be dangerous. Their fighting style is limited. They're not allowed. They're not.
They're very
trained.
charge heavy.
I think in the wild, Aspinall would win. Sorry, I mean the boar would win. But I think in this gladiator scenario, I think Aspinall wins in an arena.
Basically, a boar's go-to arsenal is just charging you, but if it lands that charge, those tusks are going to disembowel you.
Mm-hmm.
That's what you got to look at.
Yeah. But in an arena, it probably won't be able to get up much speed to charge him, and I reckon he can get out of the way in an arena.
All right, small bird, trash. I'll put it in bad. They're not doing much.
Yeah, I reckon it could probably. Thing is, guinea pigs are so fast, but all they do is little nibbles. I reckon a bird could probably peck at it and get something.
Yeah.
You know, its eye, peck at its weak spots, its ears, and beat it eventually. And the thing is with guinea pigs, as much as I'm a big fan of guinea pigs, and some of my family have had nice guinea pigs. Like they're my favorite, probably apart from dogs, probably my favorite animal on this list. But the thing is with them is that they die of shock. Like one of the guinea pigs needed to have an operation when he was quite old. I think he was about 8 years old, and he just died of shock. I know he was really old, they didn't even operate on him. They just took him to the vets, and he just died of shock. So they're really not, as much as I love guinea pigs, they're not that adorable at all, man.
Yeah.
Mice, I reckon here probably, or
I'd reckon about there.
and again, as much as I love guinea pigs, they're not in the wild anymore, man. So like they're all pets.
Yeah.
If you put dogs in the wild, they're about to live. If you put guinea pigs in the wild now, as much as they're legends, I think they're dead. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Seagull, average human. I reckon the seagull just flies away and gets scared. To be honest with you, like they can peck someone's eye or peck at someone's throat, or a weak spot like a flabby spot on the chest and do some damage. But I honestly think as soon as a human gets hold of it, as long as it really squeezes hard on its neck or just grabs it and batters it, I reckon the average man should win. It's very difficult. It's close. I'm giving it to the average man just slightly. I could be wrong. What do you reckon?
I don't really know much about seagulls.
I might quickly look it up. Average man versus seagull.
I imagine average man could probably take a seagull, like one seagull.
Yeah, not two there, really.
Yeah, like I said, anything on this list, if you give them enough numbers, could be anything else on this list. It's just a matter of how many numbers.
I think a hawk should be an average man. It's just difficult to say if it would beat a kangaroo or a cheetah. I think it's probably here.
Sharp talons, sharp beak. They can if its primary method of winning would be can it pick up whatever it's attacking. Because if it can, it will just fucking airdrop you.
You don't reckon it could like peck someone's? Well, it could peck an eye or a throat.
Those claws on that beak would definitely be a lethal weapon.
Yeah.
But their primary way of how they hunt things in the wild is they grab something, and then they'll either just tear it apart with their talons if they're able to, or if it's too big, they'll just fucking airdrop it.
Yeah.
For reference, I think it's eagles. They hunt goats by airdropping them off cliffs.
Damn.
They'll latch onto a goat's back, lift it up, and then airdrop it off a cliff to kill it. Right. And I know there was stories of a human who died because a turtle got airdropped to the back of their head by an eagle.
Oh,
the eagle was airdropping the turtle to break the shell, and it just happened to hit a human and killed them.
Damn.
Yeah. So that's their primary method of killing things is to fucking airdrop it.
Pigeon, low end average, probably low end average. They're kind
I
of
would say low and average.
okay.
All right,
They're
what's up? What's up next?
A moose.
Moose go right behind bear.
Oh, you reckon
surprisingly.
it beats a tiger?
Yeah. I'll put it this way. The only thing in nature that hunts a fully grown moose is a fully grown grizzly.
Damn.
Moose are like 800 pounds. They're
Oh.
basically, think of them, they basically fight like horses do, but on super steroids. And they have antlers.
Damn.
So they have the kick, they do the stomp, except this time they can also do a charge.
Mhm.
And they're just mounds of muscle. And also, like I said, a moose's signature move is knock you down and then just stomp your soul out.
No.
If you get it's actually recommended if a moose stomps on you not to get up immediately because it will not hesitate to do a round 2 if it
So
sees you get up right away.
So if the moose spares you or thinks you're dead, you just stay there.
You stay down until it's fucked off. If you start getting back up, it will just do it again.
More about if you crawl away or roll away.
If it assumes you're still alive, it's gonna keep stomping.
Oh, probably best
If
to
you
just stay.
survive getting stomped on by a moose, your best bet to survive is just lay there and wait for it to leave.
Yeah, that's a fair point then.
Moment it realizes you are not dead, it is gonna issue a round 2 on you.
Yeah. Snake.
Depends on the type of snake and the venom, I reckon.
Yeah, but do some of these venom activate straight away, or?
Most of them do, yeah. It depends on the type of snake. Like, snakes generically could go anywhere on this fucking list. It is heavily dependent on the species of snake. Because some snakes don't immediately go for a bite, they do like a mock bite, for example, while some will go straight for a bite. And also their venom heavily depends. So I would say with snake, let's put it at the top of average just because it's not any specific type. And literally, depending on the species of snake, it could fall anywhere on this list. Not even joking.
Even if it bites a cow, what if the cow just like belly flops it out? It's not going to survive a bloody 2,000
The thing is, there are snakes that attack cows.
And does it win or does it just get squashed? Or
thing is, all they have to do is land a solid bite and then get the fuck out. Again, I said it depends a lot on the type of snake. Depends on the strength of the venom.
Yeah.
Because I said that there are some snakes with some very potent venom that could drop most of the things on this list if they got a good bite.
So if it was like the most deadly venom, probably like round here, you reckon?
Oh, most deadly venom, it would definitely be in the amazing category.
Yeah.
There's also type of snakes that don't rely on venom, but instead just rely on their sheer size to like cripple you. Like a fucking boa, for example. Like a boa constrictor doesn't really rely on venom, it just crushes you to death with sheer size and muscle. And for reference, boas hunt crocodiles and caiman.
Damn. So they actually beat crocodiles then?
It depends on if it's a fully grown boa, yes, they do.
They just keep wrapping themselves around and the crocodile can't do anything.
Though, funny enough, fucking boas and crocodiles have a fucking blood feud. Not even kidding.
Oh.
Well, okay, I say crocodiles, specifically caiman, because caiman are found in the area where boas live. They have a fucking generational blood feud going on. Where caiman will actively go out of their way to hunt baby boas. Because it's only when they're fully grown do they start to prey on caiman. But also, a boa's metabolism works in a way that a single caiman could feed them for over a week and give them more calories than a bunch of hunting. Like, for reference, a boa can get more calories out of a caiman than a cow.
Damn.
And for less energy. But if you think that's insane, wait until you hear what the fucking caiman pulls in this debate. Because like crocodiles and that can slow their heart rate down, and boas rely on heart rate to determine when their prey is dead so they can start swallowing. If a caiman gets caught by a boa, it will slow its heart rate down, and the boa can actually misread when the caiman is dead and start swallowing early, only for the caiman to spring back to life and struggle inside it, eventually ripping its way out of the boa.
Okay.
They both die, but basically the caiman says death's taking a 2-for-1 here.
Yeah.
So the two pull some insane shit on each other.
Damn.
But you see what I mean by, we'll put snakes at the top of average because depending on which snake you choose, they could literally go anywhere on the fucking list.
Yeah, too many to choose from.
Exactly. Goat. This is a tricky one because whilst a goat headbutting you would fucking hurt, I don't think a goat would kill you unless it can headbutt you off a cliff.
Yeah.
And as I said, an eagle fucking will airdrop a goat.
Yeah, exactly.
In fact, they do airdrop a goat.
We have a small dog.
Yep. Schmo dog. Yeah, I'd say about there is fine because still has teeth, still has claws, but it doesn't really have the size to back it. And it doesn't have the Chihuahua crackhead courage that nears Honey Badger levels.
And then we've got Big Dog. I'll put it here, probably.
Yeah. Like I said, if it was the type of dog that's bred literally to fight bears, would be much higher. But that's a specific breed of dog.
Yeah. I mean, to be honest, guinea pig probably should be in trash, but I can't bring myself to do it, man. I'm too much of a fan of guinea pigs.
Yeah.
They're not completely useless. They made it this far, you know what I'm saying? So,
yeah.
Well, that is the tier list, folks.
Yeah.
Let us know if you agree or disagree. We've got elephant as the goat, guinea pig at the bottom, humans in average,
Yeah.
the toughest human in the world.
But also, this tier list, we're looking at how they fight humans, but also how they would fight anything else on the list, and depending on how many things they could take is where their ranking fell.
Yeah, and you got to remember, this is in a 1v1 arena scenario. This isn't like in the wild. In the wild, things can change, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, the things can change, the setting can change, and again, some of these animals are pack animals and rely on having number advantage.
Yeah, exactly.
But if it's them by themselves, they don't take out as many things.
100%.
So hyenas are vicious in a pack, but take away the pack and they struggle a fair bit against a lot of things.
Yeah.
Yeah,
and even though humans are here, obviously, with weapons and with their intelligence, they could be a lot higher. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But obviously, we just talk about.
Well, like I said, humans with weaponry are the only thing on this list that's touching an elephant.
Yeah, exactly.
But again, allowing humans to have weapons is kind of cheating in this debate.
Yeah, it'd just be boring. You'd just be like knight in shining armor, probably like near, probably maybe above polar bear, maybe.
Yeah, I guess it depends on the type of weapon. Like, fucking like caveman, like stone axe, wouldn't get super far. But allow a fucking firearm, and yeah, we're killing anything on this list.
Mm-hmm.
Again, debatable on the hippo, depends on the caliber. You would need a fucking elephant gun to fucking hunt a hippo with a firearm.
Yeah, man.
Yep.
Well, anything you want to add before we end this one?
Not really. Obviously, I don't know as much about some of the things on these lists as I do with others. The ones where I do know stuff, obviously, I contributed where I did.
Yeah.
For example, I don't know much about regular badgers, but I know a decent bit about honey badgers.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, the bears were a very easy choice.
Yeah, man. And the elephant as well. Everyone knows that's the goat.
Yeah, anyone who doesn't say elephant should be at the fucking top of this list doesn't know elephants.
Well, I said how many men to take on an elephant at work, and then one of my mates said about, I reckon, 10. And I'm like, what planet are you on? How does that work? Out of the 10 men?
10 with spears, maybe, because again, we can aim for points.
And he meant in a fist fight. He said, they're not that aggressive. If you jump on its back, you can beat it. How? You can't wrap your arms around it.
Okay, one, how are you getting on its back? And two, you really think it can't just knock you off of that trunk? That thing is super flexible.
Yeah.
And two, what the fuck do you think you're gonna do even if you do get on its back? If we can't hurt a hippo by punching it, we're definitely not hurting an elephant by punching it.
Yeah, exactly. I was like, bro, do you think the
elephants...
elephants...
yes, elephants may not be aggressive, but that doesn't mean they can't choose violence.
Exactly.
And if an elephant chooses, like, I'll put it this way, if an elephant wants to hurt you, there is not a force on this planet that's going to stop it.
Bang on, man. Like, at the end of the day, do people really think the elephant's just going to sit there and let you jump on its back and kill it? Like, what planet are people on?
Yeah.
Crazy.
Exactly. Like, I would debate even, like, again, 100 people is a lot of numbers. A hippo would definitely win against 100 people just because of sheer aggression and size and everything. I reckon an elephant could. Again, you have the debate of would it run out of steam, but it's like it probably wouldn't run out of steam before killing the 100 if every attack it does is kills multiple people.
Yeah.
Because again, elephant will either stomp on you with its weight, gore you with its tusk, or it will just wrap its trunk around you and just start swinging you like a flail.
Yeah, exactly. Or you can just charge and trample people.
Exactly, yeah.
I think hippos can take on about 300 to 350, and then I reckon elephants can take on 400 people. I know in some senses the hippo might be able to beat more, but I just think the elephant's sheer size and brute strength is just something to behold.
Yeah. That's it. Yeah. To be fair, from the stories you've told me about the people for your workplace where you have these debates, not the brightest bunch.
To be honest, what's mad, a lot of them are actually quite intelligent when it comes to other stuff, and they articulate themselves quite well. It's just with animal stuff, it just seems like people...
They heavily underestimate animals.
I think it's just human ego. That's what I think. I think it's just humans thinking, we're the best. No, an animal can't beat us. An animal's dumb. That's what I think it comes down to deep down. I think they know that the animals can win deep down in a proper fist fight. They just don't want to admit it.
It's 100% human ego. Because we are at the top of the food chain, but we're not there because of our physical attribute. We're there because we're smart enough and know how to make weaponry, and we have our Twitch muscles, which allow us to use said weaponry.
I thought you were going to say we have our Twitch streams then. I was really like, what? Brilliant.
Yeah.
We have we're blessed with sentience, the precision grip, weapon making, creativity.
Precision
We've got so many things in our back pockets compared to these animals.
That said, humans actually hunt a lot like in caveman days. Humans would hunt a lot more like wolves because our bodies naturally cool down and regenerate stamina over time. So as hunters back in caveman days, humans would have been designed to run animals into exhaustion.
Okay, interesting.
Because our bodies naturally cool down as we move because of sweat, and thus we regenerate stamina as we're going.
Okay.
So basically, we would most likely throw a spear at something to pierce it, and then we just run it down and let it bleed itself out by running.
Yeah.
Because obviously, the more something runs, the more it's accelerating our blood loss.
Yeah, man.
And we basically would just keep on it until it eventually would run itself to exhaustion.
Mm-hmm.
That's actually how ancient humans, like caveman day humans, probably would have hunted mammoths. Would be throw a bunch of spears at it, get a few to pierce it, and then just keep on it and don't let it stop running.
Scary that mammoths are even more bloody scary and bigger than elephants. So I don't know how the humans pulled that off. Like bloody hell, they got.
Like I said, weaponry. If it wasn't through weaponry, we would not have done it.
Yeah, we must have had some very long spears.
It's actually create some spears, pierce the elephant's skin with them so it starts bleeding, and then just don't let it rest to stop the bleeding. And eventually it will just run out from exhaustion.
Yeah, man. Well,
but even then, that probably took like a coordinated group. Not like one human was doing it.
True. We'll nicely wrap that one up there anyway. This is the tier list. Take a good look for a few seconds, then I'll get rid of it.
Yep. Honestly, this is mostly just a fun debate. People who know more about animals probably could debunk some of the stuff here or move stuff around.
Yeah.
But this is mostly just for a fun debate.
Yeah, there are ones that are for debate, as you say. Obviously, myself and you aren't like animal experts. We just, I don't know, do the best we can with the knowledge we have, I suppose, and that's that really. It's just our opinion. If you all have a different opinion of who the better animals are, where you put them, feel free to put it in the comments.
Yep.
Yeah. I guess we can wrap up nicely there then. Thank you all so much for watching. Scott, thank you for joining us as always.
Yep.
Please check out Blue Falcon 375 on Twitch. Check out Scott's Twitch streams. Isn't it Tuesday, Friday,
Tuesday,
Sunday?
Friday, and Sunday, yeah.
So check him out on those days and, give him a follow.
Yeah, Shane George had to leave the thing before we got to Gustav. I would have been interested to see how he reacted to that.
That would have been pretty funny, yeah. But yeah, we'll wrap that one up there then. All we got to say for today. Thank you so much for watching. Take care. Have a good one. See you later.
See ya.